Good day everyone, my name is Justin Miller and I am here to inform you on what's called floating floors. That's right, I said floating floors. These floors are designed to be put on top of your old existing floors without nailing or gluing them down. How amazing is that? Your house shifts, the floor stays and just flows with the house. You don't have to worry about attaching it. Amazing, right? Let's get into it here. So floating floors have become increasingly popular for many types of floor coverings, right? The term floating floor does not refer to a type of flooring material, but rather to a method of installation, including laminates, engineered hardwood, and luxury vinyl flooring. In this method, individual planks, or in some cases, tiles, interlock edge to edge to form a single mat-like surface that simply rests on the underlayment. It is quite different from the original glue down or nail down methods that most people are used to. And they are still used for ceramic or stone tiles, in which were once standard for pretty much all flooring materials. So what is a floating floor, you ask? Floating floors are flooring installations in which flooring material floats over the subfloor and underlayment. So a quick run through some pros and cons, right? Some pros is very inexpensive, easy to replace damaged planks, and easy for a DIYer, all right? Some cons, it could lower the cost of real estate. We'll get into that here in a little bit. It could feel hollow and loud maybe underneath your feet, and you cannot refinish them. You know, when you typically think of a hardwood floor, as it gets beat up over the years, you can sand it down, restain it, clear coat it, and be done, right? Not so much this. However, fixing pieces, as mentioned in the pros, it is easy to replace any damaged planks. Now, some floating floor examples would be laminate flooring, luxury vinyl flooring, and engineered wood flooring. So, laminate flooring, let's get into that. The prime example of a floating floor is laminate flooring, which is almost never glued down to the subfloor. The floating method allows the flooring to respond to changes in a room's relative humidity by expanding and contracting without bulking. Laminate flooring planks are generally joined together along the edges and end with a modified tongue and groove system, which we like to call T-lock. The shape of the interlocking grooves may vary from manufacturer to manufacturer, since there are several different companies and different methods that you could use to connect them. Some luxury vinyl flooring, sometimes known as vinyl plank flooring, usually snaps together board to board in much of the same fashion as the laminate planks, although some types can also be glued to the subfloor. Tiny tongues and grooves engineered into the boards allow them to lock together. Some forms of luxury vinyl flooring are semi-flexible planks, while others are quite rigid. Now, the engineered wood flooring. Some engineered wood flooring is installed by nailing or stapling it down to a plywood subfloor. However, other brands are installed as floating floors. Similar to laminate flooring, engineered wood flooring is designed with a decorative surface layer glued over plywood or MDF board, which is recycled, basically sawdust, used to create a new plank, and then the laminate or vinyl or thin layer of hardwood is put on top. Okay, so floating floor costs, we mentioned earlier in the pros, is that the floating floor costs, it's very inexpensive. Now, costs of floating floor vary considerably based on the material. We mentioned laminate flooring, luxury vinyl flooring, or engineered hardwood. Okay, so we're just gonna give you some price examples. Laminate flooring is anywhere from about $5 to $5.50 a square foot. So $5.50 a square foot, all right? Luxury vinyl flooring is only about $7 a square foot. Now, engineered hardwood, depending on the company and how thick the wood is on top of the tongue and groove MDF board on the bottom, it could cost you anywhere from $5 to $10 a square foot. And these are low-end prices, okay? You can obviously find some that are a lot more expensive. This is just a low-end, giving you an idea of what it could cost to replace the floors in your home compared to doing your traditional tile or hardwood or carpet. Now, maintenance and repair, we mentioned earlier, you can't refinish, however, you can replace planks. So, the way in which a floating floor material is cleaned and maintained is governed by the type of material. For example, cleaning the laminate or luxury vinyl is generally just a matter of damp mopping, maybe using like a Swiffer, right? While with engineered hardwood, you have to avoid using water. This could allow the wood to swell and your seams to not look flat and flush together, right? Now, to replace the damaged planks or boards is typically much easier for floating floors than any glue down or nail down flooring, since it is possible to disassemble the floating planks and replace the damaged boards. It's just crazy fast compared to redoing an old floor. Now, the design behind it, floating floors are generally regarded as somewhat inferior to glue down or nail down floors, although this view is beginning to change as the quality of the products have greatly improved. More companies over the last few years have been designing better, stronger, click-together flooring. Still, floating floors have a reputation for slightly lowering real estate values, which we mentioned as a con earlier, when comparing them to premium floor materials, like mentioned, tile, hardwood, or carpet. However, this is less true for the luxury vinyl. Now, when you think of vinyl flooring, you think of the thin vinyl mat that gets glued down to maybe your kitchen or your entryway. This is slightly different. This stuff is vinyl on top of 4 48-inch long by 8-inch planks, vinyl on top of the MDMF recycled wood, right? So, gradually, the luxury vinyl flooring is replacing plastic laminate flooring as a favorite material when it comes to floating floors. Despite the somewhat stubborn reputation as an inferior flooring, floating floors do give you an enormous flexibility in design, since both laminate and the luxury vinyls are available in hundreds of styles and colors. Both materials can now also be found in what would closely mimic wood, stone, or ceramic. You can even get some that resemble metal. Now, floating floor installation is generally easy, and you don't need many tools. All three of the most common floating floor materials share a nearly identical installation method. First, the installer prepares the subfloor, taking the pains of making that your old traditional floor flat. You put down a new subfloor, getting rid of any old staples, any old glue humps. So you put down a new subfloor, lay down your mat or your sound barrier, and then you begin to install your planks. Some top brands of floating floors, laminate, are usual ones that people go with are Pergo or Tarkett. When it comes to luxury vinyl flooring, either people usually go with the Shaw, Coratec, or Mohawk brand. And when going with the engineered hardwood, people tend to go with Bruce, Carcel, or Lumber Liquidators. I do have a slight video for everyone to check out and see some examples of subfloors. And then it is on you to decide whether or not the floating floor is right for you. Let's check out this video really quick. And really, we're not showing the video. This would be like for the TED Talk, right? The final version. We're showing the video right now. And all right, let's just say the video ended. So as you all have seen, these are different, beautiful, wonderful examples of our laminate, vinyl, and hardwood click-together floating floors. Is the floating floor right for you? A floating floor can be a good choice if you're a DIYer, or if you are on a slight budget. These products are typically less expensive and easier to install than comparable glue down or nail down flooring. While some floating floors are regarded as cheap in appearance and performance, luxury vinyl is actually a fairly premium material that won't compromise your real estate value. Keep that in mind. Thank you all so much for tuning in for our TED Talk. I appreciate everyone. Have a wonderful afternoon. And this has been your info on the floating floors.